It's the cheapest opportunity to see Santa legally in the United Kingdom. If you've been telling people to avoid strangers, do not bring them to me. Okay? Because I'm like, Santa is very scary to kids who fear strangers. They're not Christians because you're told, welcome strangers, be hospitable. Okay? If you're telling kids, be wary of them, run away from strangers, no hospitality there. Swimming pool had a window, and so like everybody in the swimming pool could look in and you could look out. Right? You were a victim of that situation. Like, these are all things that other people have gotten on stage and told me about for 10 minutes.
So they've got on stage, happened to them, they're bitching.
For having a hotel room that I could literally walk out into the pool and I could have closed my blinds and never had any of the situation that I did. But I suffered through having to wear a robe in my room.
Oh no!
Because people could see in.
Oh, how?
They wanted the view of this pool.
Weren't
you watching them? Like, aren't you the people watcher here?
Yes, true.
Like,
they are
and
watching.
If you're
also
inviting them to see you, then you're an exhibitionist. But even they sell frozen food.
Yeah.
Right? Like, frozen food is posh to everybody.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's very posh. You know, if you can afford
just to
have food that you won't eat or can't or not going to eat right now.
Yeah,
that's posh.
Hello, Internet. You're listening to the In Your House Comedy Podcast with the Babyface and his fellow funny friend. Now hold on to your butts. Keep your arms and legs inside the podcast at all times. Prepare to have an autographical orgasm in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the In Your House Comedian Podcast. The show where myself, KD Hinken, sits down with one of my fellow funny friends from around the comedy circuit to talk about absolutely anything we want to. I am joined right now by the man that America forgot, the poster boy for why immigration is a good thing. He looks like Santa who's just started getting in shape but isn't happy about it. Calm down, Mrs. Claus. He is Mr. Americano himself. Please welcome to the podcast, Mr. John Parman.
Hey, KD, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm really good. I'm glad to be in Yardley. Haven't been here in a while.
Yeah.
I used to work in Small Heath.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The only American in Small Heath. They were telling everybody it was a no-go zone, but it's nice, man. You know, I love walking down the street, driving up here, seeing kids on their roller skates, just shooting around. It's a laid-back place, Small Heath, for sure. Check it out.
That's surprisingly thing to see coming around here with people on rollerblades. But everywhere gets a bad name.
Everywhere. I mean, I live in Dudley. And, I think Dudley, is that the place you guys make fun of in Small Heath?
Well, that's the place we make fun of in Birmingham.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So
that's the place where people do that accent for Birmingham. We're like, well, hold on. That's not Birmingham.
Yeah.
Get it right.
Yeah.
That's Dudley.
Yeah.
The Black Country.
Right. Do you call it Brum or do you call it Birmingham?
Birmingham.
Birmingham.
My shithole that I love.
Yeah.
Depends what mood I'm in.
Everybody's got every place in the whole world has another place that they just shit on all the time.
Oh, of course.
You know, and you can't help it.
Yeah.
You know, in Oakland they have Fremont. So I'm from Berkeley, and they have Oakland.
Right.
And Piedmont has Oakland, and San Francisco has Daly City. All these places have another place that they decided not good enough.
Yeah. And then as a collective as well, America has Canada.
Yeah, Canada. Well, they have what they do is they pick a place in America. Like they had this thing in 2000s. They had this thing, the armpit of America. Right? And they found this town that they decided in Nevada called Battle Mountain.
Right.
Battle Mountain, Nevada, the armpit of America. And it's in the middle of nowhere in Nevada. It's named after the guy who bought the land and developed the town. He was like, how do I get people to come to my town? I know what. I'll tell people there was a battle on the mountain nearby, and then they'll want to go there. And that's
a good idea.
He created this whole story about this battle that was fought between U.S. cavalry and Indians. And it turned out to be, it's totally untrue. Completely untrue.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, but American ingenuity. It's like the Hollywood sign. You know, the Hollywood sign It was Hollywood land.
Yeah, I tell people that all the time and they don't
Yeah.
believe me.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, no, it's not.
No.
They're like, what?
True story.
Thank you.
Exactly.
American confirmed it.
KD, he knows. And
I appreciate that.
The 4 letters fell off, and people, oh, Hollywood, it sounds so romantic. It must have been here for years. No, it was like a guy just thought, I'm going to sell some land, and he did.
Oh, is that why he was there? Because I never knew the story why it was there to begin with.
Yeah, they had like all these places in America that were developed by like one person or a company, and we're going to call it Hollywood. Like they had New York City, and then after World War II, they were like, you got to get out of the city because there are black people here or whatever, right? And so they were going to create towns that are just white people. So they had Levittown in Long Island. It was like supposed to be, the idea was whites only. And they had Oregon. I went to college in Oregon, and they had White City.
Wow.
Yeah, they just like laid it out, and it's very
not
racist.
Not when you was in college, I'm guessing.
This is when I was in college. I didn't.
Oh wow,
go to
so
White,
it's still a thing.
I was in Ashland, but they had basically places that they'd created in the 1950s. That's what you will never. You'll never encounter a black person here. You'll never encounter. And
wow, that's crazy.
Of course, desegregation was amazing. It's helped so many people to live the American dream.
Whoa.
Like in my hometown, Berkeley, California, they restricted black people, Hispanic people, Asian people getting mortgages, and they created this thing called the Red Line.
Okay.
So you had a part of the city that was for them, and a part of the city was for white people. And
wow,
and it was crazy. It's all these things. You think California is a very progressive place. Reality is that only in the last 50 years has anything changed. It's great to see like Kamala Harris, all these, whatever you're going to say about people running. It's great that we are in such a place in America that anyone can be unafraid to run for president.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Even in an undemocratic way.
Yeah, but even like
you can still do it.
You think of millionaires, like millionaires running for office in America. The truth is, there haven't been many millionaires who run for office.
We had a billionaire.
You had a billionaire.
Prime Minister here.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. You had people who were legitimately rich and thinking, "Oh, I'm going to be prime minister." But in America, only recently have of people, they've backed them, like Lyndon Johnson, all these guys, Truman, Eisenhower, well, maybe not Eisenhower, but like even Clinton, they had no certainty in life. It was only their own work that got them, they got into office. They, Lyndon Johnson was a teacher.
I didn't know that.
A school teacher.
I thought a lot of them were career politicians in general.
Lyndon Johnson, he's taught in a school where they were teaching in Spanish and English in the 19-teens, and they had a job interview. His first job interview, they asked him, okay, look, there are some people who believe that we all came from monkeys. And then there are people who obviously believe in what the Bible tells us. And he actually said to them, I could teach it both ways.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he just got on with it.
Yeah.
And then he became, JFK decided that he was the most powerful senator.
Well, that didn't last long.
Yeah, JFK did not last long. A lot of
don't
people,
go against the government.
I lived in Washington D.C.
Oh wow!
There for 5 years, and
see, I'm a big wrestling fan. I've seen so much of these American states and that. Yeah, I like it.
A lot of the older people I met there had come to D.C. when Kennedy was president because they thought this is it. We have achieved this absolutely amazing person who's going to extend all of our hopes and dreams.
And
they had the I Have a Dream speech, Martin Luther King. There were all these things happening, voter rights, all this stuff. And then King tried to get all the poor people, regardless of race, color, creed, everything, to come together and do something. They're like, we have Kennedy, we have Johnson, now we can really change everything. And here we are in 2024.
Sadly, the same thing happened to each of them people that you said, though. The same thing happened. Well, I don't know. Did Johnson get assassinated?
Johnson, no, he died. He died. He decided not to run for president again. He was. They went through the entire nomination process.
Right.
They decided that he was going to be kind of the nominee, and then he went on television and he said, "I will not accept, nor will I seek the nomination for the presidency of the United States of America."
Oh.
and then basically set the stage for Nixon to become president of the United States.
Oh.
There was no other primary. There was nobody else who was like ready to run and say, I'll seize Johnson's legacy and I'll continue it. Nobody did that at all.
Yeah.
And we had Nixon, and he bombed Cambodia. You know, it's crazy.
Watergate.
It's absolutely crazy. Yeah. I mean, I find it so strange, like, that we live in the residue of that. We live in the residue of all these decisions. We were on the cusp, you know, and it was very, to me now, I think Kamala Harris is running for president. I have nothing against Kamala Harris, and I voted for Kamala Harris to be president of the United States, but I do not personally think that there is any politician from any party who's actually brave enough to support poor people for real in America.
Yeah.
You know?
And anywhere it seems to be like, because I suppose it comes down to how do you support poor people, and then what does that mean?
You know, I was driving.
You need to change the prices of things. Like, that's a huge way.
I was driving here and I saw 3 people asking for money on the street. Right,
not
3
surprising.
people. That's good.
Yeah, that would just be at the top of the road. And it's not as many because it's Sunday. Even hobos take a Sunday off. You know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but
Can you get to your
my hometown, like, everywhere you went, that was completely normal. And we had like neighborhood homeless people who you saw every single day.
Yeah.
And they
you get used to them. You kind of know them.
And then you go to another town, and like I was helping my mom show houses. She's an estate agent. I helped her show a house, and I hear this voice, and I'm like, I know exactly who that is. It's the lady who asks for money in my neighborhood. You know, she's like, every day, all she would say is, spare any change, spare any change. You know, and I talked to her. I said hello. I was, you know, good to see you. I give you money, right?
Yeah.
And
good to see he's going to use.
Yeah, she kind of looks out for people, and she's making $500 a week. You know, and you think, okay, that's a good job.
Yeah.
You know, you can afford your rent. You can, you know, she had a caravan. You know, good for you. Congratulations. You found a nice, and I do not begrudge any way it's legal. Like, this is the saddest thing about America now. Like,